Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. What is this, Tuesday, April 14th? Let me take this out. Happy Tuesday, April 14th. I hope it's going well with them. So far, so good. I hope everybody had a really great weekend. And things like that. I know this weekend has been crazy. Yes, I have my little braids in today, guys. I washed my hair and just did some braids, threw on a cute little hat. I am heavily in finals. Okay. So my go-to thing is something simple, something easy, heavy in finals. I have several papers to do, a few projects to do, all while working and being a mom. So yes, this is my relaxed look, my I'm on the grind, in the grind look. So good morning to everyone. Good morning. And welcome to Politics in Plain English, where we talk current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means. Okay. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I did come on a few minutes earlier. I'm trying to figure out what is the best time for everybody. I try to go between 10 and 10:30. I feel like that's by the time everybody gets to work and is kind of seated and can throw in their AirPod and listen to some politics in plain English, right? And have a good time. And we're gonna have a good time. I won't keep you here for a long time. Just a little bit, okay? We're here just a little bit. And we have a couple of topics to kind of go over this morning. It's just follow me. It's going to be a little wild. It's going to be a little rocky, but I promise you're going to leave here more informed than you arrive. That is the goal. But first things first, I want to make you guys laugh really quick, right? Let's start off with, why in the world this Grindr? Some of you may never heard of what Grindr is, right? You may not know what Grindr is. You may not have ever heard of it. Grindr is an application for gay men to go. It's a dating app for gay men, right? And as you know, the GOP absolutely hates the LGBTQIA plus community. They cannot stand them, but they always find themselves in sticky situations where they've got a boyfriend, they're cross-dressing, they're doing like things that they, claim that they don't do, they don't understand, and that they always try to put rules and regulations and laws against them so much. Well, why am I bringing this up, you might ask? So the White House every year has a White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? Guess who is sponsoring it? Grindr. Grindr is sponsoring the White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? Grindr is also the application that crashed during the Republican National Convention. Yeah, you heard that right. This is what's going on, right? Grindr is hosting. Let me get it all the way correct. Is hosting the Correspondents' Dinner, where journalists come, and it's a good fun night to celebrate media, a free and fair media, right? This is what's happening, guys. They are hosting the Correspondents' Dinner. I wonder why. I just wonder why. I wonder if any of you can take a wild guess, but I absolutely wonder why this is what's going on, right? Like, I really just wonder why, right? But I think I have an idea as to like why we are here. Because listen, guys, I just find this really strange. I really do. For the president to even be, talking this way. Bear with me 1 second. Let me remove that. Okay, I want y'all to follow me real quick. Listen at this. Look how he's touching him. Did y'all see that? Look how he's touching him. He is calling this UFC fighter a beautiful man. And that he's too beautiful to fight. Don't you guys find some of this? You know what? I'm on the wrong tab. Give me just a second. Hold on. I was on the wrong tab for you guys. Give me a second. Good morning. I was on the wrong tab. Hold on. We're going to get to that tab in a minute. All right. Here we go. Just watch this. I want you guys to listen to this.
I'll give you a hundred. You look so good. You're too good looking to be a fighter. You are some fighter. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's funny. Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thank you. Go do what you're doing. You're a beautiful guy. Great fighter. Thanks, sir. Put me to more than you win this fight. I'll give you a hundred. You look so good. You're too good looking to be a fighter. You are some fighter.
You look like a model. You look too good to be fighting. You look so good. You're a beautiful man. Shout out to my mom for this cup. This is interesting, ain't it? Sips tea. I think we know why Grindr is sponsoring the correspondence dinner. I mean, how many men do you know are rubbing on another man's leg this way?
Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's funny. Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Straight men, this is.
Thank you. Go do what you're doing. You're a beautiful guy. Great fighter. Thanks, sir.
Okay,
Put me to more than you win this fight. I'll give you a hundred. You look so good. You're too good looking to be a fighter. You are some fighter. Thank you.
You are some fighter. You are too good looking to fight. Whew. My God, today. My. And they wonder why Grindr is hosting the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That was just to give you guys a little kiki. You know what I'm saying? A little kiki. Or whatever. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Drop down, say hello. I know most of my people are at work at this time. But I just found that interesting. Like, is this what's really going on? The party that hates gays and lesbians, but yet this Grindr website is hosting the correspondence dinner. I just find that really, really odd. You know what else I find odd is that Alex Jones got sued for claiming when the school shooting happened, of those 5 and 6 year olds back when Obama was president. He said that Democrats are always hiring crisis actors, right? They say that whenever it's mass shootings, it's crisis actors that's there that the Democrats always hire. This is what they say, right? This is what they say. Now, I want you guys to take a good look at this picture right here. This woman right here, okay? Let's take a good look, right? Hair color just changed. That's it. But still the same eyes, still the same chin, still the same caved in mouth, still the same all of that. Maybe a couple of pounds, give or take. Still all of this. Well, this person's name is Sharon Simmons. Sharon Simmons, during the beautiful bill vote in Nevada, I believe it was, she went and testified and said that it would be a great thing for this bill, that this bill would, save money, it would do what it needs to do, that this bill is necessary for America. This bill is the right thing to do. It's going to save us money. It's going to, catch those fraudsters, those Medicaid and Medicaid fraudsters, and all of those things. This is what this woman said, right? Sharon Simmons, this is what she said. She said all that. And then we have this. Just a second. Now, I'm not sure if you guys saw this yesterday, but this is quite interesting. For me, it is. Just quite interesting. Remember that person you saw in the picture, right? Now, for starters, we're going to break this down. For starters, there is no one that is walking this freely to the White House, the Oval Office at that. No one is walking up with a bag sealed to the Oval Office. No one is getting beyond the barricades with a sealed bag to the Oval Office. Okay, that's for starters, but okay.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I have been DoorDash for you, Mr. President.
That's very nice. Look at this. This doesn't look staged, does it?
They're all your favorites.
They're all your favorites.
DoorDash is doing a good job.
He said, this doesn't look staged, does it? This is where they gave it away, right? This doesn't look staged, does it? It's all your favorites. How would you know this is all of his favorites if all you're doing is going to the DoorDash counter, picking up the packages and taking them there? You don't know what's in that bag. That's not DoorDash's policy. Meanwhile, DoorDash's CEO is crashing out on Twitter and X and Threads right now. But you don't know that, right? How would you know that it's all of this man's favorites? I mean, we do know that McDonald's is his choice, his food choice, right? Which is disastrous in itself, but it tells you all you need to know about his health because they say he eats it every day. But how would you know if it wasn't staged? Gave it away right there. This doesn't look staged.
So the reason for this is the fact that I heard you picked up an extra $11,000 in.
And mind you, look at her shirt. It says DoorDash Grandma. This is what you call staging. You're staging McDonald's because we know that that is the choice of the president, right? Now we're going to go ahead and put her as the DoorDash Grandma. What is that doing? That's pulling on heartstrings. And it's also publicity for DoorDash. Because how would she know to wear this shirt on this particular day with a DoorDash logo on it to go to the White House full of his favorite things? But keep
because the tax bill was so big, the refund was the biggest you've ever had. Is that a correct statement?
It definitely was. Yeah, I saved over $11,000 by not having to claim.
Was that surprising to you?
It was very surprising. Very
A
surprising.
great big beautiful bill, and that doesn't include overtime.
Okay, so she's claiming that she was able to save all of this money, right? Because of tips, because no tax on tips, right? However, we take a further deep dive, and this woman had to drain her life savings because her husband has cancer. Because of the beautiful bill cut back on coverage and increased the cost of your premiums, she had to empty out her life savings. This was the same woman that went up and politicked and, did the bidding for this big, beautiful bill But it couldn't be so beautiful, because if it was so beautiful, why are you being a DoorDash grandma? Why did you have to drain your life savings? Why are you delivering McDonald's to the White House if it saved you so much money? Do y'all see how, like, good morning, everybody coming in. Do y'all see how this just don't make sense? How the math is not mathing here? Miss Parker, hey Pookie. Do y'all understand? Hey Taylor May, do y'all understand how this does not make sense? How 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 with this? Like, they think the American people are stupid. But if you save that much money, right, then why would you have to drain your life savings for your husband's cancer treatment when the Affordable Care Act was pretty much intact? The affordability for life-saving measures, prescriptions, treatments were a lot cheaper because there were caps placed on things, right? This is what we're dealing with. And this is why the GOP is facing what they're facing. And the 77 million people that voted for Donald Trump, this is what you voted for. And we don't want to hear it. We're not buying, because everything that is happening, we told you it was going to happen. And he even said it was going to happen, because if you just sat back and took your racist lens off, your misogynistic lens off, right, and did the math, you would have saw that it never was adding up to begin with. Okay, we would have saw it was never adding. You would have saw it wasn't adding up to begin with. These are grifters. The GOP is now the grifter of politics. That is their new name, grifters of politics, because they cut the 1% tax and made a permanent tax break for them. Meanwhile, taxing the hell out of everyday people. And they wonder why. They wonder why that man at that paper towel plant, that tissue plant, where it's only 20 workers that work there, and he set the whole thing on fire because the CEO makes $23 million, right? Where if he would have took a pay cut of about 3 million, because it's only about 20 employees there, if he would have took a pay cut about 3-4 million, guess what? Those 20 employees could have made over $100,000, and he would not be dealing with a burnt down factory right now, burnt down warehouse right now, and having to go through insurance. Now, the guy is going to go to jail because he filmed it and everything, but he said, I don't care. But we're going to start seeing more of this, because what the elite don't realize is that you need us to be elite. AI cannot do everything, and people are slowly finding that out. Companies are slowly finding out that AI is not the answer, because AI makes mistakes too. AI malfunctions as well. And there are just some human instincts that you cannot duplicate and or replace. But this is the grifting of politics, right? They're no longer the GOP. They are the grifter. Well, they are the GOP, but grifters of politics. They have lined their pockets. They have lined their kids' pockets and whoever else around them that they could potentially line by keeping us grabbing and scraping for scraps at the bottom. Okay. There's no way that this ad is even good. This did them no service whatsoever, because the whole thing is an oxymoron in itself. You can't save money, but then say you saved all of these thousands of dollars, but then you had to empty your life savings at the same time. If you don't get the hell out of here, I don't know what. I don't know what. I'm not going. We're not going. Okay. Make sure y'all put in the chat. We're not going. All right. We're not going. We ain't buying. Whatever. I hope y'all catch what I'm putting down. So I find this crazy. White women are always voting against their own interests. Just Sarah, hey, boo. Happy Tuesday to you. I love you so much. I miss you. White women are always voting against her own interests. And that was prime example. She voted against her own interests, and now she's a DoorDash grandma. Okay, we not going. Tell them, Taylor, we not going. Okay, we're not going. We not buying. Okay, we're just not. Period, point blank, full stop. And this is also furthermore as to show you how Donald Trump and his folks are not well. Okay, Donald Trump is not well. Okay, he is not well. And I'm going to tell you why he's not well. I want you guys to listen to this. And they think, I just don't understand what they think that we think. But watch this. Just listen to this. This is on Fox News. This is on state media. I call it state media TV, right? This is Fox News. Just listen. Did you hear that? Let's back it up. Let's back it on up. Let's back it up. Oh,
maybe a little bit higher.
My bad. Hold on.
Be around the same. I think
gas will be lower.
Listen
Do you believe the price of oil and gas will be lower before the midterm elections?
I hope so. I mean, I think so. It could be, or the same, or maybe a little bit higher. But
look at her face. Watch her face. This is Fox News that he called into on Sunday. Just watch his face. Watch her face. Let's back it up. Watch.
Do you believe the price of oil and gas will be lower before the midterm elections?
I hope so. I mean, I think so. It could be.
I hope so. I think so. It could be.
It could be, or the same, or maybe a little bit higher. But it should be around the same. I think this won't be that much longer.
What? This was the man who ran off of, we're going to lower your gas prices. We're going to lower your grocery prices. We're going to lower prices. And everybody's going to make money. When you guys are on your way home from work, I want you to pay attention to the actual gas prices. There is nowhere that gas is below $3.25. I know here in Charlotte, North Carolina, it is $3.65, $3.75 in some areas. And for diesel, it's almost $6. I know for premium gas, it's $4.50. And he said, I hope so. I think so. It maybe stay the same, maybe a little less, or go even higher. And I'm going to tell y'all why Iran is really winning this war and we're losing in so many levels in just a second. We're going to tie this in. But this man is not well. Okay. This man is not well. This man is so not well. This is what we're dealing with. He decided in the middle of the night to get an AI generated picture of himself with, I'm guessing those are demons flying above his head, soldiers, the Statue of Liberty, the bald eagle, okay, the American flag. You've got a praying little girl, a nurse, and a man laying in the bed. If you ask me, he looks like Jeffrey Epstein, with his hand placed upon his head and a light in the other hand. We all know what this picture is supposed to be. This man think he Jesus. This man put up a picture pretty much saying he's God, right? This is what this man is doing. Devils flying above his head. Like, this picture is so crazy, it doesn't even make sense. But okay, because what does Statue of Liberty have to do with anything? because the Statue of Liberty was gifted to us because of our immigrants, which we know that they're throwing them in concentration camps, is what I call them. And he's touching his head. And this man said, then when he was asked about it, he said, oh, he was a doctor. What doctor do you know is wearing a red robe with a light in their hand like that? What doctor is that? But let's not forget, this is the same man that put this picture up, stating he's emulating the Pope. Same man that put this picture up. He's an idol. You know what they said about idols? Know what they said about idols, right? Same man that put this picture up. And now they want to be mad at this picture when he's already done this already. He's already done this already. Like, are we okay? This man has done this already. Why he think he's, child, say it again. He thinks he's God. Why are people acting slow? This man thinks he's God. Okay. He is not well. He needs to be put in nursing home, a crazy house, a mental institution, everything but the White House. Okay. He needs to be everywhere but the White House, the people's house. This man has lost his mind. And furthermore, I don't know if you guys see this. Let me try to make it bigger for you. Furthermore, about an hour ago, he puts on Truth Social, this war was started. Hello. I'm going to get there, Cruiser. Talk about it. Or he wants us to think he's God, but we don't see God as man, and certainly not as a white dude. Because guess what? I got something for y'all. Y'all think, hold on, let me go back to this. Y'all think God looked like this? I'm going to tell you who God looked like. Them folks in Iran. Did I say that? Ooh. Did I say that? Ooh. Is this thing on? Did I say that? They think God look like this. They think God look like this. God look like them folks in Iran. I said it. I said it. That's what he looked like. He looked like them folks in Iran. But furthermore, just about an hour ago, he says this war was started by Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden, and we've been fighting it for over 47 years now. This week, I will be creating the Hormuz Peace Board, where our so-called coward NATO allies are not welcome. Many real allies have already expressed desires to join this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to secure the Hormuz for peace. Thank you for the attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Let me break something down to y'all. Number one, let me break it down to y'all. Let me make it very, very clear. I'm going to teach you something. Obama was in high school. Biden was a junior senator, and Jimmy Carter was president in 1979 when the Iran conflict started. So please tell me how Barack Obama and Joe Biden started this war. I'm going to say this again. Barack Obama was in high school. Joe Biden was a junior senator. And Jimmy Carter was president in 1979 when the Iran conflict started. So how in the hell are they responsible for this war, this choice war that he initiated? Him and the drunkard, the drunk chief over there. Y'all know who I'm talking about? Pete Hegseth. How did Barack and Joe Biden literally live rent-free in his head? Okay. Please tell me how a high schooler and a junior senator got us into war in 1979. This is why I keep saying this man is not well. He's not well whatsoever. He's not well. And when does he ever sleep? Like, I just want to know, like, does he ever sleep? Because he's always on Truth Social in the middle of the night, wee hours in the morning, saying the most craziest stuff. And you know what's even crazier that people are not recognizing? I recognize it, and I'm sure a few of you recognize it. Because folks were so outraged by this picture right here, right? They were so outraged by this picture. He took this picture down, but you know what picture he didn't take down? He did not take down the picture and the video depicting President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle as apes. He didn't take that down, but he took this down. But he wants us to believe. He wants us to believe this. He's on a mission from God. That's what he wants us to believe. But we already know. You know what's so even crazier? Like for Mr. 2 Corinthians, you know what I'm saying? You know, Mr. You know, Mr. You know, I love the entire Bible. You know what I'm saying? Mr. You know,
Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that
no,
you like.
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke. Very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal.
But he sent. But he sent. But he is on a mission from God. Mr. 2 Corinthians himself. But can't even tell you whether he likes the Old Testament and New Testament better. He can't even tell you what the Bible contains. Can't even tell you. He probably doesn't even understand that his name is in the Epstein files more than God's name is in the Bible. His name is mentioned more in the Epstein files than God's name is in the Bible. But this is why the chickens are going to come home to roost. This is why his health is failing. This is why the walls are closing in on them rapidly. It is. It feels like it's not right now, but it is. It is because he's trying to sue everybody and the courts are dismissing it. Right? They're like, get it up out of here. They're doing all of this. Right? But this man is not well. He's just not well. He's just not well. And this is why a few weeks ago, I was telling you guys that he was a puppet because they knew he was dumb enough to go in there and portray as this big businessman who was successful. And if you've ever followed any of his businesses, they've never been successful. And rally up this sycophant base, right, to usher in things. So let me break something down to y'all. What's happened in Hungary is what has happened in Hungary is what they were trying to duplicate here. Okay. So the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025, and which is an American conservative movement, they were traveling to Hungary. And they built relationships with former Prime Minister Orbán, right? And what they were doing was they were pretty much modeling Project 2025 after what he has done, right? So the president of the Heritage Foundation, whose name is Kevin Roberts, he's the think tank behind 2025. He said that it's not just a model for conservative statecraft, but the model, right? And what they did was they wanted to do exactly what Hungary had been successfully able to accomplish over 16 years. They were able to control the media. They were able to control the judicial system. They were able to bankrupt the country to where it was the poorest country in Europe. Okay. And putting policies, severe like policies over education, energy, and just coming from an overall like right-wing, ultra-conservative approach. So they figured if we can control education, right, we can control the price of everything. We can rig elections. We can make it almost, and we can control the media. We can stay in power because that's what it's all about. It's about power. We can stay in power for as long as possible. Morning. We can stay in power. So Hungary for 16 years was underneath pretty much a dictatorship, right? So the Heritage Foundation went over there, and that's how they wrote Project 2025. Because if you notice in Project 2025, they're attacking education, they're attacking the media. And when I say education, we're not talking about just your middle schools or high schools. We're talking about universities that they're attacking, right? They're attacking our free press, and they're attacking our free and fair elections. So the reason why Hungary could not get from Erdogan's control was because they had controlled the elections and making it so difficult for anybody from the opposition party to win. So if y'all wondering where Project 2025 came from, that's where it came from. And the Heritage Foundation, they're disgusting, they're despicable, they're nasty, they're vicious, they're vile, they're hateful, they're racist, they're all of those things. And they're looking at it as a total control because they need their white race to be superior. So 2 days ago, what we saw happen was Erdogan has lost. He has lost to Peter Magyar. He is a centrist. He's not a far left wing. He's not a far right wing. He is a he was a centrist candidate. He could not have political billboards. He wasn't getting airtime on the news, anything like that. It was straight ground game, and the people became sick and tired. And the numbers were so large, there was no way for them to cheat them out of them putting the former prime minister out of office. There was no way. It was no way for them to do it. And this is a blueprint for America. We need to wake up and understand we have to stay focused because we're focused on the wrong things. Yes, the 25th Amendment, but it's only one place the 25th Amendment can derive from, and that starts with his cabinet. And we know that they're not going to do it because what are they? They are the grifters of politics. They are GOP, grifters of politics, right? They're the grifters of politics. So as long as they get paid, they're not going to, because remember, he has people around him, good morning, who are not civil servants. He has people around him who only care about the dollar. That's it, and power. So because he has those around him and not people who are institutionalist, constitutionalist, he doesn't have those people around him who understand and respect and revere our political system, checks and balances, our Constitution, the institution of democracy. Because he does not have that around him, we can think, listen, don't even hang your hat or hold your breath to think that, oh, this is going to be the thing to make them invoke the 25th Amendment. It's not. And we have got to stop focusing at the rabbit going across the road, or the squirrel jumping from tree branch to tree branch. We have got to stay laser focused on the tree itself. And the tree itself is affordability. And that is the message. The message is affordability. The message is education. The message is affordable gas, affordable groceries, affordable health care, and education. Those are the four things that we need to make sure we are driving home. Listen, I know I'm a small YouTuber, but if there's any, Democratic folks running for office, listen to me and listen to me clearly. Folks that are interested in politics are just now getting interested in politics. Good morning. Just now getting interested in politics and need to know where to start. Listen to me clearly. The message when you're sitting down and you're talking to your cousins and little Pookie and little Ray Ray, and you talking to your aunties and uncles and things like that, affordability the question is, has Donald Trump made anything more affordable? The answer is no. We have got to stay laser focused. We cannot sit here and get distracted by this. We cannot get distracted by this. We cannot get distracted by this. We cannot get distracted by them hiring crisis actors to pretend like they're saving so much money. And we know that what do white women tend to do? They tend to vote against their own interest. Right? We cannot get distracted by him talking about Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden started this war 47 years ago when they weren't even in office in any type of political power to start any damn thing. Jimmy Carter was the president when this started, okay? We have got to stay focused and understand that this man is disgusting. He's nasty. It is what it is. We cannot be distracted. Affordability is what it is because we're just getting started at how expensive the United States of America is really about to be. Okay? We are just getting started at how expensive it is about to be. And I'm about to tell you guys why it's about to get so expensive. And remember, I showed you guys the map to show you where Pakistan was located, Iran was located, all these great things, right? Remember, I showed you guys that. Let me teach you something else this morning. So, you know why Iran is winning? Outside of the fact we have a dingbat in office and dingleberries surrounding him. Okay, I want to break this down to you guys as plainly as possible. Iran is winning because of China and Russia helping. Why are Iran winning? Well, we know Russia is giving them intel. But let me let y'all in something. China is pissed off. You know why China is pissed off? Because most of China's oil comes from Venezuela. That's where they buy their oil from. And who invaded Venezuela and snatched their oil from them? That crazy ass man in office, right? He went and snatched their oil. So then that makes China like, wait a minute, hold up, swole up. Now you're taking what we buy, what we're buying at a decent rate because they have the relationship with Venezuela. Y'all following me here? I hope y'all follow me. Follow me here. So China pretty much gets a discount from Venezuela's exports that pretty much is about $10 billion. Actually, Venezuela is in debt to China, so therefore they're paying them back in oil. That's really what it is. In this exchange, you give me a deep discount, this will go towards the loans. We'll help, whatever. So China receives cheap energy and providing a financial lifeline to Venezuela regime. Okay. China is the largest recipient of Venezuelan oil, right? So remember, Venezuela had sanctions placed on them, on exports, things like that. Well, China was able to get around that. China was able to get around that by pretty much masking and having shadow fleets to evade the sanctions, and had pretty much those tankers rebranded as something else coming from another country. So this allows China to have a significant presence in South America. I hope you, my people, with me. Holla if you hear me, okay? I hope y'all with me. Pass the collection plate because we learning today. Okay? I hope y'all with me. So China has a big presence in South America. China also just bought up a bunch of land and have invested money in DR too. Business people are going to start buying waterfront property in DR because China is investing businesses there because of all the loopholes and tax benefits and things like that. I'm telling y'all, okay, because I study a lot of this stuff, okay? Very heavy in Ghana, sweetie. Very heavy in Ghana. So Donald Trump decides to invade Venezuela, snatch their main man, throw him and his wife in jail up here in New York, which he's going to get a pardon because they're going to buy him out. But anyway, steals some oil, steals some oil rig or oil tankers, right? And we can't even use Venezuela's oil because it has not been, Lord, what is the term? Refined. It has not been refined the way that it needs to be refined for us to use it, right? Good morning. It has not been refined for us to use it. This is why Donald Trump is saying, oh, it's okay. We're going to start giving out diluted oil. What do you think that diluted gas is going to do to your car? I digress. So Russia then takes that oil that we had seized. So China's not going to be happy about that because China loaned them Venezuela money. So how is now China going to be receiving the benefit of the financial backing that they give Venezuela? Now they're not going to be able to. Y'all follow me here with this? This is why China is also going to start attacking virtually through the airways. We're also going to get energy attacks. We're going to probably have water attacks. Y'all better listen to me. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm not trying to scare y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all to understand what we're dealing with. And this is why Donald Trump is in over his skis, because he doesn't understand the dynamics of the Middle East. He does not understand the dynamics of oil, period. hands down. He does not. He does not get it. He does not understand it. Meanwhile, you have over 40 countries that are meeting without the US to come up with other deals excluding the US. Yeah. So now Trump has now said he's going to blockade the Strait of Hormuz as well. Meanwhile, China just got a boat through there yesterday, and Iran is mocking it like, I thought you was about that work. Iran said, I thought you was about that work, but China got their boat. Come on, tugga, choo, choo. They got their little boats. They got their boats coming through because Iran said, run up and get done up, okay? China said, we back in Iran because you went over there and messed up money and our cheap oil that we were getting. You had no business going down there. You committed war crimes down there, actually. So now you messing up what we got going on over here. So we're going to back Iran, and we're going to also give Iran some infrastructure, some technology. So now they're able to get drones for real cheap for a couple dollars, okay? Get drones for a couple dollars and send them out. Because remember the peace treaty that only lasted about 30 minutes, and I told y'all in real time this is what was going on, and it lasted only 30 minutes because is not real, that's what we call them, is not real, wants to stay in war because Bibi Netanyahu then stays out of jail. And Bibi Netanyahu is sending his people out to steal people out of their homes because they want to expand their land, because you know Israel is not real, is really only this big. Okay, so they over there in Lebanon right now. They're over in Lebanon sending out chemicals that actually burn people's skin. Because see, now they don't know, they're running out of ammo, they're running out of missiles, they're running out of all of these things because Iran said, we told you we're ready for war, we're ready for whatever. You run up and get done up, and this is what we about. They said we got our war paint on. This is life for us. They're forever YNs. Yeah. They're forever YNs. So now is not real is sending over chemicals to Lebanon that is burning people's flesh. And no, Trump does not want it with China because China's technology is so far beyond ours. They just gonna start hacking the hell out of us. And before you know it, we won't be able to swipe our debit card. We won't be able to turn on the light because they're going to shut down our electrical grids. And you see, Canada already said we don't want nothing to do with the US no more. We're not sending no troops. We're not sitting down at no table with y'all. We're going to make our own deal. And no, Iran is not Venezuela. Iran is a different beast. Why do you think nobody ever wanted to go to war with them? Because they about that life. They stay ready. They don't have to get ready. When one dies, the son steps up, and the son is more radicalized than the next, and then the next son come, and then the next son come, and then the next son come, then the brother come, then the nephew come. It's a long history, okay? Long history. NATO said we are not joining in on this. You know, NATO, the folks that fought with us for those 10 plus years in that Iraq war, you know, them. You know, them that fought with us in that, they said, Trump, you're on your own. You're on your own. And Kuwait is like, and Iran told Kuwait, you better shut up. Because you are neighbor. And you sure that's what you want? Because we'll give you that work too. Kuwait, No, we don't want. We just trying to figure out how we can get peace. How can we get peace in the Middle East? Okay. How can we get peace in the Middle East? And so if you think that prices are high now, I want you to hear what the farmers are saying. I want you guys to hear what the farmers are saying. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want you to hear this. I really do. I was shocked when I saw this. I was really shocked. I was absolutely shocked when I saw this. I just want you guys to pay attention to this and just listen to this.
This is our moment.
And it will be all that you've dreamed of and more.
While the commercial's going, so the farmers warn of a food price spike and war drives up fuel. So here we go.
About a third of the world's fertilizer supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and its effective closure is causing shortages and price spikes for fertilizer during the crucial spring planting season. That has led to fears of both elevated food prices and lower crop yields across the globe. This morning, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins told PBS News' Liz Landers that, quote, everything was on the table to fix the problem for American farmers.
Clearly, I think we're at 36 days for the
She's an
conflict,
idiot.
has elevated the issue of fertilizer and how important it is for American farmers and frankly for our food supply. The good news is that about 80% of our farmers actually last fall locked in their fertilizer. So as we're moving into planting season, it's only about 20 to 25% of our farmers that didn't lock that in. We are working directly to ensure that we can get them what they need and it won't bankrupt them.
Now, despite those numbers, farmers we spoke with say they fear these cost increases could put them over the edge. Here's some of what they told us.
My name is Russell Baining. My family and I farm right south of San Antonio. We're buying nitrogen right now, and it's about 40% higher than it was, 2 or 3 months ago, but before the conflict. Let's just say that.
I'm Lance Lillibridge from Benton County, Iowa. We booked most of our fertilizer before the conflict in Iran. However, some of it we did not because it was too expensive. We're probably going to go without that particular nutrient on our crop this year. A lot of other farmers are doing the same thing.
My name is Matt Frostick. I have a crop and livestock operation in Michigan. In January, we were looking at nitrogen for about $350 a ton. Today, that number is bouncing around $600.
Steve Turner. I'm a farmer in northwest Illinois, located about 40 miles northwest of Springfield. We've got a lot of our inputs paid for, but I'm afraid we're going to be looking at some elevated prices for a while.
There's people saying, well, there's 80% of the fertilizer has already been purchased for this year's crop. And we actually heard that figure from USDA. Even if 80% is pre-purchased and the other 20% goes up 50% or more, it can still be a pretty good hit for you.
The reality is we're not breaking even. We didn't break even the last 2 years.
With the increases in the input prices, there are no margins. They appear to be zero at this point.
It's just not the fertilizer. It's going to be the fuel into this thing. And I know everybody's experiencing that right now with the elevated fuel prices.
I always say if gas and diesel go up, if oil goes up, everything else is going to follow in some form or fashion.
As fuel becomes expensive and it's hard to produce that crop or costs more to produce and transport that crop, it all kind of equates to higher prices.
So much of growing a crop is out of our control, and we can only manage certain things. When the prices of these inputs become so high, what do we do? I don't know. And I don't think anybody's got a wonderful answer to it.
Well, when it comes to policy, frustration might be a little bit of a strong word. There's maybe anxiety, even before the conflict. Let's be honest about it. Tariffs have caused the price of our inputs to increase. If you want to look at it from the 30,000-foot view, agriculture pretty much still trusts this administration. That's still what I hear.
When you look at the Strait of Hormuz, we've got to have shipments out of there. And I think anything, whether it's our U.S. Navy or whatever it is, to stabilize that region to get shipments out of there, because we were already fighting record inflation and a price squeeze already. And this is just, more on it right there.
For more on the impact of this fertilizer shortage,
Y'all heard it from farmers themselves, and farmers from different areas, and farmers that produce different things. Now that one man, 30,000 up, we still are for Trump. Yeah, right. I'm not buying that one. But we're about to see some prices out of this world, because tomorrow, the last oil tanker hits the US tomorrow. The last one that has been able to get through the Strait of Hormuz. The last one. And yes, we have oil, but it's not refined. It is not refined, which is why he was like, you can do diluted oil, gas. So my suggestion is, you guys better make a play. And when I say make a play, you better figure out where you can cut costs at. Hell, I've even cut my Dunkin' Donuts visits. I used to go there every day. That's getting a little expensive. Price of coffee has went up, even now I have to write out my dinners for the week. Because things are high. People's gas bill have doubled and tripled. People's electricity bills have doubled and tripled. And especially with the hotter months coming, it's going to be more expensive. And these fruit and vegetable prices are not going to go down. They're going to go up, because demand is going to be high and supply is going to be low. And if you know anything about economics, when supply is low and demand is high, what goes up? The price. The price. This is what goes up. And lastly, I want you guys, let me see if I can find it. I want you guys
information really quickly, and we'll see.
Something I saved, and I think it's very important that we see this. But it just is. And it breaks down some things.
Holy smokes, you're not going to believe this, but
If you were thinking about moving to Texas,
to be aware of. And this ties into why the data centers are dangerous. And this also ties into what I said earlier about how China will start not only a cyber warfare, but they will start attacking our very minerals, like our water, our energy. This is what is going to happen. But I want you guys to hear how expensive certain things are about to cost, and how it's about to be a water war. Okay. How it's about to be a water war, especially for those in Texas. Texas has the most data centers because they tried to put two of them here in Charlotte. We told them no, we ran them up out of town. They tried to put one in DC, they ran them up out of town. I think they tried to put one somewhere in Philadelphia, they ran them up out of town. They tried to put one, I think in Delaware, they ran them up out of town. I see it in California, they said, we're not playing that. They've tried to put these data centers, all of these places, and Texas houses the most. Part of that is greed. Texas houses the most, and I want you guys to see this man explain it and break it down exactly how it is and why it's about to be a water war. Okay. Hold on for me.
And you've seen that.
Hold on 1 second.
You're not going to believe this, but
If you were thinking about moving to Texas, and you've seen that, you know, you can get a nice house, you can be in a nice neighborhood, no state tax, you know, a booming economy, one of the largest in the world. I'm going to tell you something very interesting about this state right now of Texas that might make you change your mind on relocating to Texas. Right now, there are 140 data centers in Texas. Why does that matter? Well, these data centers, they use fresh water to cool off their systems. Why does that matter? There's a drought in Texas right now. And we're having the first city run dry in Texas, which is Corpus Christi. So we have 140 data centers that are using up that supply of fresh water, correct? And we have a drought. I want you to understand, what do you think happens when Corpus Christi runs dry? When there's no more water in Corpus Christi, what happens to those people who bought homes or they own property or things of that nature when your city is dry? It's over. So I'm saying that greed will be the downfall of Texas because we're allowing all of these data centers to touch down right here and use our fresh drinking water. I'm out.
holy.
Thank you, Barn Dog, for coming by. Y'all heard that. Corpus Christi is about to run out of water. And remember, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are trying to put these data centers everywhere. The only way to keep them cool is through fresh water. This is going to boil down to the elite versus everybody. Because no one is going to buy a home where there's no water. That property value is going to go completely down. Those folks are going to have to move and lose tons of money. And for those that say, I don't get into politics, you better. Those that say, oh, I don't really do the politics thing, you better. Because politics really is a line between thriving and surviving. You know who is allowing these data centers to be erected the way that they are? Donald Trump. He has benefited off of Jeff Bezos, who is owner of Washington Post, Bill Gates, Apple. He has benefited off of all of these people because they've given him money towards that ballroom that's never going to get built, that he's going to pocket the funding for. They gave money to the campaign, which he's funneling to his personal pocketbook for his luxury lifestyle. Meanwhile, we're rationing out how much gas we can get and how many groceries we can buy at the time we go to the grocery store. We have to restructure and reframe the things that we once liked to do towards what do we have to do versus like to do. So it will be a war of waters, but it's also going to be a revolt and a retribution against the elite. Good morning, Boo. And it's not saying that you cannot be wealthy. You can be very wealthy, but your wealth should not deprive everyday Americans. Your wealth should not be off of the backs of people making pennies and barely able to pay their light bill, their cell phone bill, their gas bill, or their rent or mortgage. And this is another reason why they are trying to stop education. Because an educated people, right, are people who know, they're more organized, right? They're formidable. But when you rob people of education, they lack comprehension skills. They lack reasoning skills, and all they want to do is get by, right? Y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up and see and smell the damn coffee or black tea, whatever you choose. But this is just letting you know, this is some of the stuff that are going on that are not in the glaring news cycles right now. Things that are actually going on, and it's kind of riding underneath the radar, and it will only become a big thing until it is a big thing, until Corpus Christi is completely out of water. That's when we'll know. That is when we know. So again, midterms are coming. Please make sure, check your voter registration, because they do purge. Check your voter registration, check it twice, make sure that the name is correct, the address, make sure everything on there is correct, so you have time. If you need to make a correction, you have time to make the correction. Know where you need to vote. If you're doing early voting, know where to go for early voting. If you're going to wait the day of, know where you need to go. Especially down there in Texas, because they play around with y'all a lot down there in Texas. Virginia, anybody in here that is in Virginia, make sure that y'all vote. I think it's yes on Prop 51, I think it is, basically to redistrict the gerrymandered GOP had done, to redistrict that so you have a fair election. And that means a new wave of Democrats will come in, because they gerrymander it to make it so that no Democrat could ever win. Make sure you guys are voting yes on that. Barack Obama is going around talking about it as well. Okay? It's time to get active, and it's time to have conversations. Churches, folks that are leaders in churches, it's time to have those conversations. Instead of talking about buying helicopters and planes and cars and stuff, no. Let's talk about these elections and know who we're voting for. Dig into the candidates. And if you guys want, if you put your state down in the comment, we can focus on a candidate and their record each episode, each live. We can pick one candidate or one state and look through the candidates and look at their records, so we know whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. If that's something you guys would like to do, I'd be more than happy to do that work for you. But anyway, remember, they upset about this, but don't stay distracted. They upset about this, but don't stay distracted. Because remember, this is the very party that's having Grindr host that journal, the Correspondents' Dinner. Remember that. Remember, this is the grifting party who stages stuff and votes against their own interest. Remember that. Remember that the war that we are currently in is a choice war. It has nothing to do with us. Remember that anything that, if you did vote for Donald Trump because you thought he was going to make the economy better, ask yourself, are you in a better position? And then when someone else comes up and talks about, oh, I voted for this, this, and that, ask them, what has he done to make your life your kid's life, your neighbor's life, your brother's life, your husband or wife's life any better? Now that's Politics in Plain English, where we talk about current political events and explain what's happening and why it's happening and what it means. I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Become a member. I will eventually do some member lives on this where we deep dive in some stuff. And where, you know, we can have some roundtable discussions and you can even come up and hit the link. So please make sure you do that. If you're not a member, please become one. I think it's $2.99, $3.99, something like that. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming. Every day that I go live, I see my faithful ones in the chat. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank you for my moderators for coming in here. Thank you for interacting with me and staying with me for the hour and 15 minutes. You know, I don't like to hold you guys too much longer than that. Have a great day. If you have to red ball it back so you can hear how I broke down what Hungary means for us and how why China is helping Iran, please red ball that back to educate yourself so you have a better understanding of what is going on in the world and how it directly affects us. And remember, that man is not well. That man is not well. And until next time.